Welcome to Make Imperial Show, where your partner's success is yours. This time, we'll discuss what it takes to lead partners to success. We'll be discussing how to become a self-driven leader. Joining us are Imperial Masters Soon Taek Lim and Star Master Hyo Yul Choi. Some of you might be wondering why I invited these two individuals today. How did you two first meet?
I believe it was around 2018. In December of 2018, I was introduced to Star Master Hyo Yul Choi. I felt, he could be a leader. He truly had the qualities of a leader. So I told him I'd be going to Russia in December, but he kept saying not to come because I would be busy. Still, I thought, if I don't go now, I'll regret it, even though he told me not to. I just went ahead and bought a ticket without hesitation.
I told him, I'll be in Korea in January, so don't worry about coming. I told him not to come because I was going to Korea. But he said, I already bought the ticket. Now that I think about it, I believe that was the perfect timing. If I had come to Korea in January, I might not be here right now.
He said he'd come in January, so there was no reason to go in December.
Right, you were busy.
But for some reason, I thought, it's now or never. Of course, he did come in January as promised, but he had other things scheduled, and he was so busy at the time, he wasn't really into Atomy yet. He came to Korea, but we only met for about 2 hours. If I had waited until January and not gone in December, it would have just ended in one-sided admiration. I would have just thought, Atomy's great. Now that I think about it, I think that week in December, after all our conversations, is when he became an Atomy person.
Here is what happened. As soon as he arrived, he started explaining Atomy, but I didn't really care for Atomy. He was explaining it, and I didn't understand anything. I pretended I wasn't interested.
At first?
Yes. If I didn't know Atomy but showed interest, he might have stayed longer.
He might have stayed longer.
That's right. So I pretended not to be interested. He was explaining, and I was just listening out of courtesy.
Out of courtesy?
Yes, out of courtesy. But as I listened, I realized this wasn't a pyramid scheme. That was the system of income I had been looking for. System income.
It seems you had a need for system income even before then.
I did. As a businessman, system income was urgent. Business has ups and downs, but system income has none. Imperial Master Lim once said, lasting income is more important than making a lot of money. I was looking for system income, and that's what Imperial Master Lim said. But I couldn't say I was interested. That night, something changed.
Your attitude changed, your perspective changed.
I asked him to explain the marketing plan again. He said, this is a great chance to become a global leader. He added, Atomy is the Global One code. I thought, this is what I was looking for.
Well, let me tell you what actually happened. I was told not to come, but I went. I met him. He said he had to go on a business trip to the Far East. I was at a loss. I had to stay in the hotel alone for a week.
With no one to speak to.
Then I got a call that evening. He said he'd send a car from the office and asked me to explain Atomy again. I was so grateful. I was already worried about what to do.
The next day, I canceled my business trip and we met.
You canceled your business trip?
Yes, I canceled it.
You really opened your mind.
Because timing is important.
Timing.
Meeting this great person, if I had traveled, it would be over.
I heard the Imperial Master Lim gave a business explanation that night. I heard he opened his laptop and showed his account balance.
Since I used to run a business, money mattered.
You wondered how much he can make.
Exactly. So I asked, please show me your bank accounts.
How did you feel then?
I think he doubted it. Looks good, but does he really make money? So, when I said I'd show you, he said, okay.
His 2017 earnings were... It was just under $600,000.
At that time?
There was no business that brought home that much. So I thought, is Atomy such a big business? I was deeply impressed.
As expected, the best business proof is the bank balance.
Showing the balance is best.
Above all, showing the balance is best.
I'm really curious about this. They call it a hidden gem or pearl. How did you know that he was a hidden pearl?
Doesn't he seem solid and trustworthy? It's hard to express everything in words, but I felt he's the one, the true self-leader I'm looking for. I was sure that he would become a global leader. I thought I finally found the person I was looking for.
A lot of viewers right now probably want to be self-leaders. What do you need to do to become one exactly?
You have to be able to do things on your own. So don't rely on your sponsor. Be independent. Sponsors don't give you speed, they give direction. I brought this today to help our viewers.
You still have the paper from that time?
I wrote down everything he said and put into practice. This is what I put into practice. Leaders must know a lot. And you need to become center of all. You must build an instructor team. Doing it alone has limits. You must form a team. You must build teamwork.
Build a team. Everyone should write this down. It'd be great if you could copy it too.
And regular training is important. Training at a fixed time and date every week. Seminars should be held regularly on Tuesdays and Thursdays. What kind of things do we do in those seminars? Do a basic business briefing and marketing plan education. Also do product experience sharing. And leaders must set weekly and monthly goals and aim for targets.
He gave you very detailed comments. When you explain this to people doing Atomy, do they all follow through?
Most of the time, they don't. Here's how you can tell a real self-driven leader. Leaders ask different questions. You can tell if someone has a sense for this kind of business by their questions. But this person, as I thought, was a leader with good leader qualities. So I passed on everything I knew about Atomy. It's rare for someone to actually apply it like this, but he really did.
Starmaster Choi, while hearing from you, I think you seem very goal-driven. You are Russia's first Starmaster. I'm curious what goals you set.
I set the 2030 strategy.
2030?
I've heard of the 2030 generation, but what is the 2030 strategy?
Let me tell you. It means working 20 hours a day and signing up 30 people.
So 20 is for 20 hours? 30 is to register 30 members.
Yes, it means signing up 30 people. I said I wouldn't go home until I hit the goal. So the first thing I said to my daughter was, I don't know what a Sharon Rose Master is, but I'm aiming for it in 2 months. And she said, Dad, you can do it. So I did the 2030 strategy. I said it as a father, so I had to do it.
So if you have a clear goal, the people you meet are different. Your range of action's different. At that point, I already had clarity. I remember he sacrificed sleep to build his business.
Actually, I really like the term global leader. Atomy is a global solo trade business with no limits. You can be a solo president, run global business, and pass it down 3 generations. It's available in 114 countries. You become the single CEO of a global company. In order to promote something this good, I have to lead by example.
When we look at our global branches in the US, Japan, Canada, Singapore, there are teams that take the lead successfully. Now, those teams have a clear trait. Almost all of them are good-natured leaders in network marketing. So if you need to get tips from here, when entering a new country, find a network marketer with good character and experience. They'll help you draw the roadmap.
Are there any virtues you need to have or prepare to become a global leader?
The most important thing is communication. Without communication skills, no matter how much I know about Atomy, I'm no better than a child. If you can't communicate, you can't manage a line. First of all, you need to resolve communication issues. Second, since the culture is different, you need to understand the culture. Speaking of which, I'll give you a brief example. I did a brief business talk in Indonesia once. They kept asking me what to do with the business. I told them about the queen bee. When you gather honey, no matter how many bees are collecting honey, if the queen bee disappears, all the worker bees disappear within an hour. Bees have meaning only when there's a queen. I thought they would understand, so that's what I told them. But I struggled for 3 days.
Why?
They kept coming and asking me why worker bees are not needed. I didn't mean they were useless. I meant that they must set their leadership in place. But I think they thought they were worker bees. They were like, why are worker bees unnecessary? I had a hard time explaining this and that. And then I went to Thailand and they asked how to build business. I wanted to tell them that business requires concentration and immersion. So I talked about baseball. If you hit one base hit every inning until the 9th, you get no points. You won't score a single point. You can draw, but you can't win. Whether it's the 3rd or 9th inning, focus on hitting all 9 hits. Then you have a 70 to 80% chance of winning. But as I was talking, I felt the vibe go cold. So I asked the interpreter, and she said they don't know baseball. So telling a baseball story to people who don't know baseball killed the mood. Even minor language differences can lead to misunderstandings. There are times when misunderstandings occur.
That's understandable.
Yes, it is. It's better to know that kind of culture, so we don't have to go through trial and error.
Then Starmaster Hyo Yul Choi, you've been in Russia for a long time. So you're the queen bee of Russian culture.
That's right. He's the queen bee. You have done your own leadership training 69 times so far.
Yes, we're doing it every month. You told me to do training, regular training. And in order to train others, I need to be trained and ready, right? There are a lot of atomy materials in Russia now. Many Russian materials.
Right now, right?
Yes, but when Atomy Russia first opened, there were no materials at all. There were no materials translated into Russian. So I went to the Korean Atomy site and downloaded everything. I listened to them dozens, hundreds of times on business trips. I started with Chairman Han Gil Park's early lectures. I listened to Dr. Sung Yeon Lee's materials dozens of times. So I created the materials myself.
You created the first materials in Russian?
Create materials and conduct regular training. That's why our team created it. We started regular training in April 2019. The only time we stopped was during the COVID self-quarantine period. This month marks the 69th month of our 2-night, 3-day training.
You haven't taken a break at all?
Yes, we conduct intensive training only within our team.
That's easier said than done. It's the 69th session. Especially for Koreans, hearing 69 sessions might sound easy. Russia is the largest country in the world. And then I'll ask, where are you from? And they answer shyly, I'm from close by. And I ask, but where exactly? To them, close by means 1,200 miles. The person next to them just smiles. I ask, where are you from? They say, I'm from Lake Baikal. Lake Baikal? How far away is Lake Baikal? About 3,300 miles? That's what they say. And the person next to them looks at the person next to them. Why? That person is from 4,350 miles away. In Russia, a journey of under 300 miles barely counts as a trip.
And at that time, you asked, did they arrive home? You asked that once, didn't you?
That's right. I met a lady in Russia, and she left an impression. Then I came to Korea. A couple days passed. And then I thought of her and asked, do you think she'll do well in business? And he said, wait a minute. He said he'd call her. She's on the train now and will arrive at 8 p.m. tomorrow.
So she hadn't made it home yet.
She was still traveling. When I came to Korea and asked about her after 2 nights, he said that she'd arrive around 8 p.m. tomorrow.
It's definitely different.
Our standards are different. It's not easy to gather once a month for 2 nights and 3 days.
We've been doing that for 69 months.
You're still continuing?
without a single break.
Oh, if you invite me later, I'd love to go see it for myself. I believe you've always had a baseline belief that this business must succeed because of this element. Do you think anyone can be successful in Atomy?
Personally, the Atomy business is the easiest business I've ever done so far.
You all need to listen to him now.
There is no business as
Remember when he
easy as
said
this.
not to come and I still went?
The best decision ever. It was such perfect timing.
Currently, Atomy members can receive commissions in 57 countries. They can register in 114 countries. That's about 60% of UN-registered countries. But the reason I say Atomy is still just beginning is because not even 1% of each country is registered yet. It's not a multi-level marketing business. It's a one-person global trade company with unlimited levels. I'm doing trade with the whole world. Next month makes our 16th year. Atomy's 16th anniversary is coming. I don't think Atomy is a 16-year-old company. I believe Atomy will be a 70-year-old company next year. Do you know why?
Why do you think so?
Because Chairman Han-gil Park's life is in it. His whole life is in this business. That's why I can't understand why someone wouldn't do this business. Because I'm doing Atomy. I feel like I was born for Atomy. People like me are the best!
That's the right expression. It feels like he was born to do Atomy. He's a fully prepared leader.
Today, too, there are probably people wondering whether to start Atomy. I hope you can give them a clear answer. Now's just the start of Atomy.
In a way, not doing Atomy is the biggest risk.
At this point,
Many people talk about timing in their businesses, but Atomy has no timing. It's right now. Right now.
for those of you watching right now, it's not too late. Everyone, now's the start. I'm sure many are promoting Atomy business. Many of them would want to ask this question and get some tips from you. Many people abroad say we don't have enough products. How should you answer that?
Well, first, our global branches are distant and hard to manage. I know there are over 600 Korean Atomy products now. Shall we launch all 600 products into your country at once? Do you think the business will go well? That won't work. The business will fail. In the early days, the chairman said this: when entering a country, you must enter like an awl. If it's dull, it can't penetrate. When you hear a company's name, things like detergent, cosmetics, health supplements, and so on should instantly come to mind. Not all products at once. If there's no focus, the business will fail. If there is no focus, what will you do? So we just go in with a few products. So what we need to do now is not ask Atomy to launch products quickly. The first thing we need to do is quickly build a consumer base. Atomy brings great excitement when new products come out. Every time a new product comes out, many members expect them. Build a consumer base first. New products launch 2 or 3 times a month. Many members expect them and are ready to use them. So master everything about that product to create consumers. Then, when the next month's product comes out, master that too. Then the volume gets bigger and bigger, and that's the order. Asking for all the Atomy products to launch in your country it's understandable. But that's not how it works.
That's such good advice. Make consumers remember one signature product. That's good advice. I hope all of you watching now will take that on board. Of course, our company is trying to provide a lot of products. But before that, when a product comes out, check to make sure you have a loyal consumer base that can buy. Make sure you have consumers getting ready for those launches. So Imperial Master Lim just shared his advice. I hope that helps all of you. Now, there are also people who blame environmental factors.
Well, let me give you an example of Cambodia. I went there not long after the Cambodian branch opened. I heard that Atomy is such a global company. But when I tried to do some business, nothing was ready. For example, only certain banks worked. If I have one bank card, but only certain bank cards work, it's frustrating. It makes you think. What kind of company is this? Why can't I use my card? There are many cases where hot-tempered people quit. But every business has obstacles when you're just getting started. In a way, if you look at a lot of Atomy leaders, including me and Star Master Choi, they made it far. But it wasn't easy. They went through hardships. Those who overcame hardships are now leading. So it's the same when you want to become a global leader. Those who endured and overcame hardships are now in charge in their countries. It's not like everything was good from the beginning. If you persevere and endure, you will definitely be rewarded.
Wow, this is the Make Imperial show, isn't it? Those are our core values. I believe one of our core values we're absolutely sure of is leadership. When one line grows, some only care about that line. Over time, they eventually leave the other line for others to deal with and focus only on one side.
Self-leaders handle both sides. Maybe my experience can help. I call it the mirror theory.
Mirror theory.
Mirror theory. Imagine a mirror. If I don't smile, the person in the mirror will never smile. If I frown, they just frown. That's why you have to be a good role model. If the original person is bad, no matter how much you look in the mirror, that organization will all die.
I see.
That's why both sides must be managed. Both lines, both sides must be balanced.
That's right.
So I talk about mirror theory a lot in Atomy. So what does it mean to become a global self-leader? Saying I am a global leader means you cannot be a leader without doing it yourself. You must manage both lines. If you work hard on both lines, everyone above and below you will follow. In Atomy, if I work hard on both lines, a sponsor will seek me out. If I only work on one line and do things half-heartedly, I have to go seeking my sponsor. Plugging into the system is a must, of course. Some pretend to do Atomy without plugging into the system. Last year, Imperial Master Lim shared a theory called the pretending theory.
You can wake a sleeping person, but not a person pretending to sleep.
Even though I can wake up a person who's sleeping.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's right. What if someone pretends to be asleep?
You can't wake someone who pretends to sleep and won't wake up.
I also pretend to be asleep when my wife comes.
Do it the right way or don't do it at all. Take your business seriously. That's the point. So let's say you have one line making 1 million PV per day and the other line making 200,000 PV. Most inexperienced people think the one with 1 million PV is a big success and the other with 200,000 PV is a small success. They ignore the 200,000 PV line. They ignore the 200,000 PV line. That's really frustrating, isn't it? Now, how can 1 million PV be a big sales line? What was considered a success in my experience with Atomy? 1 billion PV per day is considered a real success. Performance can later change depending on the leader. I'm the one who actually experienced and saw it. Let's say one line makes 50 million PV per day. The other line makes 5 million PV. But we need to see which line becomes big or small. Global leaders can change things. It won't flip right away, but gradually it will. If billions of PV appear, then it is real success. But don't mistake a few million PV for big success. I sometimes joke we use binary marketing, right? You must work both sides. Koreans love pork belly, don't they? If one side is cooked, flip the other side.
Both sides must be cooked.
Yeah. Binary fits our marketing style.
So our viewers have asked some questions. Could you answer them? How do you manage when a leader emerges from overseas? You talked about management.
When a leader emerges overseas, you'll be most excited. Why? Because you want to grow all over the world. Wow, I finally found a global leader. I understand how exciting that is. Those who are good at sharing do well in business. Rushing because you're in a hurry won't help you grow. In the beginning, I wasn't told to come to Canada. Come to think of it, I often go to places I was told not to go. Anyway, I went there, and it was a failure because I wasn't a true self-leader. I went to Canada for 2 nights and 3 days. While I was there, one person came just to say hello. So don't make my mistake. Call them in if they have potential. Don't go after them first. If they come, half is done. Let them see the system, like Adamy's Success Academy. If they are the right person, they say things like, I really didn't want to come, but I'm glad I came. If I hadn't come, I would have missed out. Some people really say that. They go back and tell their partners about it. But do those people believe it? They say it's nonsense. So you try again, inviting them repeatedly. But there are times like this. They learned about marketing here and know the company. But when they meet the right person, their questions are different, and they can't answer everything. Then they would think, I wish a leader from Korea would help me. Go when they want you to. When they ask, please help me. I'll gather as many people as you want. And what happens when you go? They even bring those who missed the meeting all the way to the airport. Why? Because they want to meet face to face. But if I go on my own, the effect is much less. When a leader appears, call them in first, and then keep inviting them. That is the way to succeed in global business.
It seems like timing is everything. What do you think, Hyo Choi?
I traveled from Russia to Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkey, Spain, Poland, and throughout Europe. Before I go, I talk to them and give them a few assignments. Can you give a brief 3-minute company introduction? Because it makes no sense to say that Atomy is nice to people who know nothing about it, so I give them a couple of assignments. If they study that, that means they have passion. That means they're interested, right? Going global costs money and time. You cannot just go blindly. Study up on Atomy, and let's meet again in a few days via Zoom. That's what I say. If they're interested, I go. Then I call them in. I tell them I will buy their ticket. If they like this idea, they have a free ticket mentality. But there's someone who wants to buy their own ticket.
Those people are sincere.
That person is the leader. That's how I check. I'm looking for a person who'll keep doing the Atomy business with me. But if someone has a freebie mentality, it's hard for me to work with them. If I offer tickets and they love it, I eliminate them from leaders. Because that means they prefer things for free. I have my own know-how like that. Even if you do that, it's actually not easy to find a global leader. It takes a lot of time. You have to provide everything. Eventually, leaders will come out.
Listening to both of you, I think there's always a common point. I think it's because Imperial Master Lim passed on a lot of good advice. When you meet a global distributor or a leader, control your excitement. Don't get too excited and invite them or do anything for them too soon. First, just wait and educate them, or invite them to Korea, and find the right timing based on those who respond.
What's important is that when we look at Southeast Asia especially, many people mistake themselves for leaders just because they're good sellers. Good sales and leadership are different. Many think good sellers are leaders. And later, they get disappointed. They are very different. So, for example, in the case of Southeast Asia, inviting someone is the first filter. Now, without a visa, many can't come. People like that shouldn't open centers. Those who can't come cannot open them. They must be financially stable to open centers. People who open centers with borrowed help won't last a year. It's actually a negative factor for the organization. But there's a reason why I asked Star Master Choi to open a center. Because he's financially stable. To be a real self-leader, you should be financially stable for at least a year without any support for the center. You must have the ability to sustain it.
Realistically, yes.
They get greedy about center fees, and without knowing anything, they say, I want to open a center too. Some say they'll open 40 centers. What's the point of opening as many as 40 centers? They must be mistaken about something. They think that they can live off the center while doing business. That center will close within 6 months. This is important.
Yeah, okay. I hope you remember this. As the final point, we haven't had long today to listen to your stories, but I think that everyone has learned a lot from you both. So I think that we'll go ahead and wrap things up here today. But before we go, I have one last quick question. As you run this business, what personally keeps you going in life?
What has supported me while doing Atomy is the belief it's that I could pass down an inheritance that breaks free from poverty and global one code. We are digging a global spring that never dries up. And that spring doesn't dry up for 3 generations. I really hope you truly understand this. I get frustrated when people say bad things about Atomy. They say there are 3 types of people. People who only see what they see, people who can't even see what's in front of them, and people who try and really see everything. I hope you open your mind and really take a proper look at Atomy. If you have any questions, contact me. I will teach you day and night why you should do Atomy and why this is truly our future. I want to explain that to you.
Anyway, I met Chairman Park and came this far. In a way, I met the chairman at a prime time in my life. If I hadn't met him then and had missed the opportunity, I honestly can't imagine what kind of life I'd be living now. Throughout my life, meeting the chairman and Atomy was the best serendipity of my life. After I became an Imperial Master, I was asked to express Atomy in one word. I warn you all now, you have to be ready. Suddenly, after becoming Imperial Master, they hand you a mic and say, please describe Atomy in one word, and it can really catch you off guard. So what I said at the time was, good morning. The reason I said good morning is because when I wake up in the morning, I can't imagine a morning without Atomy. If I opened my eyes and there were no Atomy mornings, everything would feel hopeless and dreamless. For us, mornings are filled with Atomy. So imagine how we walk through our day. And lastly, to our members, the economy right now is difficult, isn't it? This is actually an opportunity. So pair up in teams of 2 again, just like you do for Go 100. Whether someone runs a business or a restaurant, keep recommending Atomy to them. You never know. They might be searching for something right now and waiting for our outreach. But they won't express it because life isn't easy these days. Even people doing well wonder, can the business I'm doing now really guarantee my family, my retirement, and my future? Consider this an opportunity. I hope everyone truly meets Atomy. Our success is not just our own, it becomes someone else's hopes and dreams. The best time for Atomy is now.
That's a very important point. Inheritance, in other words, love for family may be the most important force that keeps us doing this business and carrying on with life. This was Make Imperial Show with Atomy's top-ranked leaders. I think our conversation today was very beneficial. I truly hope all global Atomy members become true leaders, and the company will always do its best to help you succeed. Lastly, let's all stand up and shout Make Imperial to conclude today's show. 1, 2, 3.
Make Imperial!
Make
Make
Imperial!
Imperial!
Make
Make
Imperial! Thank you! And we'll see you again next time.